You wake up, you haven't eaten anything, you didn't have a late-night dessert, and yet your blood sugar monitor shows a higher reading than you expected. You wonder why this happens, especially when your doctor told you your glucose is in the normal range. The truth is, even with what's considered normal blood sugar levels, there are morning mistakes you might be making that push your fasting readings higher than they should be, and over time, these small habits can silently push you toward insulin resistance. In this video, we are going to talk about 7 common mistakes that can make your morning blood sugar rise, even when it seems like you are doing everything right. You will learn how these habits affect your fasting glucose, why your morning reading may be one of the most important numbers of the day, and how small adjustments can help you wake up with stable, healthy levels every time. Stay with me until the end because I will also share one simple nightly habit that can have a powerful impact on lowering those early morning readings for good. Let's start by understanding why morning numbers matter so much. Your fasting blood sugar reflects how your body has managed glucose for the past 8 to 10 hours without food. If your fasting level is regularly above the optimal range, it means your body is either producing too much glucose overnight or struggling to keep it under control without constant help from insulin. This can happen even if your overall daily readings look fine. It is why some people get told they have normal blood sugar levels during the day, but their morning numbers quietly signal the beginning of metabolic dysfunction. The first mistake we need to talk about is eating too late at night. Your body's ability to manage glucose follows a natural rhythm. As the day goes on, your insulin sensitivity tends to decrease, which means your body is less efficient at moving sugar from the blood into your cells. If you eat a large meal high in carbohydrates close to bedtime, your blood sugar can stay elevated for hours while you sleep. This often leads to higher fasting glucose in the morning, even if your numbers during the day are normal. Imagine this. You have dinner at 9 o'clock, maybe some pasta, bread, and a little dessert. You go to bed by 10:30, thinking you've given your body time to digest. But while you sleep, your blood sugar remains above optimal levels for much of the night. Your pancreas has to release more insulin to try to bring it down, and your liver may also release stored glucose if your insulin signaling is not working perfectly. By morning, your fasting reading is higher than it should be, and you may think it is just random. In reality, the timing of your meal is a major factor. Shifting your last meal earlier in the evening can make a huge difference. For most people, finishing dinner at least 3 hours before bedtime allows your body to process most of the glucose before sleep, so you start the night closer to your ideal range. This doesn't mean you can never enjoy a late meal, but if high morning blood sugar is a consistent pattern for you, this is one of the easiest habits to adjust. Late night eating also affects your circadian rhythm, which is the internal clock that controls hormone release, digestion, and metabolism. When you eat late, you disrupt this natural cycle, which can increase cortisol levels and reduce insulin sensitivity overnight. This combination sets the stage for higher fasting glucose the next morning, even in someone with normal blood sugar levels during the day. It's also important to mention that what you eat at night matters as much as when you eat. A high carbohydrate dinner will naturally cause a bigger glucose rise than a balanced meal with protein, healthy fats, and fiber. If you combine a late meal with high carbs, you are almost guaranteeing a higher reading the next morning. On the other hand, a lighter, lower carb dinner finished earlier in the evening can have the opposite effect, helping you wake up with a steady number that falls within your personal optimal range. When you think about your morning blood sugar, don't just focus on what happens in the morning itself. Consider the entire evening before as the start of the cycle. Every bite you take in those last hours of the day is part of the story your fasting number will tell you in the morning. Now that we have covered the first mistake, we will move into another very common one in the next section. It is something that affects millions of people without them even realizing it, and it can push morning glucose higher even if your last meal was early and balanced. We are going to talk about the role of poor sleep quality and how it disrupts your blood sugar regulation overnight. The second morning mistake that keeps fasting glucose high, even in people with what is considered normal blood sugar levels, is poor sleep quality. Most people think of sleep as simply rest for the body, but in reality, it is an active period where your metabolism is repairing, your hormones are balancing, and your blood sugar regulation systems are recalibrating. When you cut your sleep short or the quality is poor, your body responds with a cascade of hormonal changes that make it harder to control blood sugar the next morning. One of the main players is cortisol, the stress hormone. When you don't sleep well, cortisol levels tend to be higher, especially in the early morning. Cortisol naturally rises before you wake up as part of the process of getting your body ready for the day. But when you add the stress of insufficient or interrupted sleep, that rise can be exaggerated. Higher cortisol means more glucose released from your liver into the bloodstream, which is one of the reasons you can wake up with a higher number even if your evening meal was perfectly balanced. Poor sleep also decreases insulin sensitivity. This means that the same amount of insulin your body produces will be less effective at moving glucose into your cells, so the glucose stays in your blood longer. Just 1 or 2 nights of inadequate sleep can make this effect noticeable. And if this becomes a regular pattern, your fasting numbers can remain elevated even if you are eating well and exercising. To improve sleep quality, think about both the quantity and the consistency. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep each night, and try to go to bed and wake up at the same times every day, even on weekends. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid screens in the hour before bedtime because the blue light can suppress melatonin, the hormone that signals your body it is time to rest. These small adjustments can make a surprisingly big difference in your morning glucose readings. Now let's move on to the third mistake, which actually happens after you wake up, but still affects how you interpret and manage your morning glucose. This mistake is starting your day with the wrong type of breakfast. Many people, including those with normal blood sugar levels, begin their morning with meals that cause an immediate glucose spike. It might be a bowl of cereal, a piece of toast with jam, a smoothie loaded with fruit and juice, or a coffee loaded with sugar and flavored creamers. These foods are high in carbohydrates and low in protein and healthy fats, so they are digested quickly, causing your blood sugar to shoot up fast. If your fasting glucose is already elevated from late-night eating or poor sleep, this spike pushes it even higher, which can create a pattern of unstable blood sugar for the rest of the day. Starting your day with a high-protein, lower-carbohydrate meal helps stabilize blood sugar and prevents large swings. Think of eggs with vegetables and avocado, Greek yogurt with chia seeds, or a protein shake with almond butter. Protein and healthy fats slow digestion and the release of glucose into the bloodstream, keeping your levels steady for hours. The first meal of the day sets the tone for your metabolism. If you begin with a spike, your body will often respond with a crash later, leaving you tired, hungry, and craving sugar. This not only affects how you feel, but also makes it harder to keep blood sugar in a healthy range overall. On the other hand, if you start with a stable meal, you reduce the likelihood of big swings, improve your energy, and help your body maintain normal blood sugar levels throughout the day. It's also worth mentioning that the timing of breakfast can matter for some people. If you are waking up with a higher fasting glucose and you are not feeling hungry right away, waiting an hour or two before eating can allow your body to naturally bring that number down before your first meal. This is not the same as skipping breakfast altogether, but rather giving your body a short window to stabilize. However, if you feel lightheaded or overly hungry in the morning, it's better to eat sooner. Just make sure it is a balanced meal that supports stable glucose. These first 3 mistakes, late-night eating, poor sleep quality, and high-carb breakfasts, are incredibly common, and they are often overlooked because each on its own might not cause a dramatic problem. But together, they can consistently push your fasting glucose higher than optimal, even if your daytime numbers are technically within the normal blood sugar levels range. In the next part of this video, we will move into 2 more subtle but equally important morning mistakes. One involves something you might not even think about as part of your blood sugar, yet it plays a major role in your readings. And the other is a habit many people assume is harmless, but it can silently raise your fasting number day after day. The fourth morning mistake that can keep your fasting glucose higher than it should be, even if you have what appears to be normal blood sugar levels, is starting the day dehydrated. Most people underestimate how much hydration affects their blood sugar. During the night, your body loses water through breathing, sweating, and basic metabolic processes. By the time you wake up, you are naturally a little dehydrated. When you are dehydrated, the concentration of glucose in your blood can appear higher because there is less fluid volume to dilute it. This doesn't mean that dehydration is the only reason your fasting number is elevated, but it can make the difference between waking up in your optimal range and waking up slightly higher. Drinking a glass or two of water soon after you get out of bed helps replenish fluids, supports kidney function, and can help your body process glucose more efficiently. Some people even notice a small drop in their glucose readings after rehydrating. It is also important to understand that hydration plays a role throughout the day, not just in the morning. If you are consistently underhydrated, your body is operating in a low-level stress state, which can trigger higher cortisol and lead to more glucose being released from your liver. This can make it harder to maintain normal blood sugar levels, even if your diet and exercise habits are good. The fifth mistake is one that catches many people off guard because it is not directly related to food or drink. It is starting your day in a high-stress state. The moment you wake up, your body naturally increases cortisol and other hormones to help you feel alert and ready for the day. For someone with good metabolic health, this rise is moderate and controlled. But for someone with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, this morning cortisol surge can be exaggerated, leading to a noticeable spike in fasting glucose. If you add psychological stress on top of this natural hormonal rise, the effect becomes even stronger. Think about mornings where you wake up and immediately check your phone, see a stressful message, rush through your routine, or start thinking about everything you have to do. Your body responds to that mental stress the same way it would to a physical threat, by releasing more cortisol and more glucose into your bloodstream. It is a survival mechanism that made sense when our stressors were physical dangers, but today it often works against us. Starting the morning in a calmer state can make a real difference. This might mean delaying your phone or email for the first half hour, taking a few minutes to breathe deeply, stretch, or go for a short walk outside. By keeping your cortisol rise closer to its natural level, you help your body keep glucose steady and closer to your optimal range. Another thing to remember is that chronic stress doesn't reset overnight. If you are living with ongoing stress from work, relationships, or health concerns, your morning glucose may stay higher than expected even if you have normal blood sugar levels during the day. This is because your baseline cortisol is already elevated, and your body is more likely to release extra glucose from the liver as soon as you wake up. Combining hydration with a calmer morning routine can be a powerful strategy. Drinking water first thing and taking even a short break to center yourself before the day's demands begin can lower your fasting readings over time, especially when combined with the other habits we have already discussed. Now that we have covered the impact of dehydration and morning stress, we will move on to the final 2 mistakes in the next section. These are behaviors that seem harmless or even healthy at first glance, but in the context of your metabolism, they can subtly raise your fasting glucose day after day. Understanding them will give you even more control over your morning numbers and help you maintain normal blood sugar levels consistently. The 6th morning mistake that can keep your fasting glucose elevated, even if you have what seems like normal blood sugar levels, is skipping your morning movement. Your body is designed to use glucose for energy, and one of the fastest ways to lower blood sugar is to activate your muscles. When you move, your muscles pull glucose from your blood without needing as much insulin, which helps bring levels down naturally. If you wake up and go straight into a long period of sitting, whether it is at the breakfast table, in the car, or at a desk, you are missing a perfect window to bring your numbers into an optimal range. This doesn't mean you need a full workout first thing in the morning. Even light activities such as stretching walking, or a few minutes of gentle body weight exercises can signal your body to start using glucose more efficiently. For people who tend to wake up with readings slightly above their target, adding some morning movement can make a noticeable difference within days. The combination of increased blood flow, muscle activation, and improved insulin sensitivity works together to support normal blood sugar levels throughout the day. If you combine this with getting a little sunlight early in the morning, you also help regulate your circadian rhythm, which in turn can improve your sleep quality at night, creating a positive cycle that benefits your fasting glucose. Sunlight exposure helps your body set its internal clock, which influences hormone release, energy levels, and metabolism. This connection between movement, light, and glucose control is often underestimated, but can be one of the simplest and most powerful tools you have. The seventh and final mistake is ignoring your patterns and focusing only on single numbers. Many people wake up, check their fasting glucose, see that it is technically within normal blood sugar levels, and then move on with their day without looking for trends. The truth is that a single reading is just a snapshot, and it can be influenced by many factors such as what you ate the night before, how you slept, your hydration, stress, and activity levels. If you only look at isolated readings, you might miss the fact that your numbers are slowly creeping up over time, or that certain habits are consistently linked to higher mornings. Tracking your fasting glucose over weeks and months allows you to see patterns, identify triggers, and test solutions. You might notice that your readings are higher after a certain type of dinner, after nights of poor sleep, or during periods of higher stress. Once you see those connections, you can make targeted changes to bring your fasting glucose down and keep it in your ideal range. This doesn't require expensive technology, although continuous glucose monitors can be useful for some people. A simple logbook or a note on your phone can work just as well. The key is consistency. Check at the same time each morning before eating or drinking anything, and write it down along with a few notes about your sleep, meals, and stress levels. Over time, this data becomes one of the most valuable tools you have for managing your blood sugar and avoiding unnecessary spikes. By combining awareness of your patterns with the other strategies we have discussed, such as eating earlier dinners, improving sleep, choosing the right breakfast, staying hydrated, managing stress, and adding morning movement, you give yourself the best chance of waking up every day with steady, healthy numbers. This is how you turn normal blood sugar levels from a static measurement into an active, controlled part of your health strategy. In the next and final part of this video, we will bring all of these ideas together. You will see how these 7 morning mistakes work in combination, and how fixing them can help you maintain stable glucose not just in the morning, but all day long. I will also share that simple nightly habit I promised at the start, which can set you up for your best fasting readings yet. We have covered the 7 morning mistakes that can push your fasting glucose higher than it should be, even when your readings are in the range most doctors call normal blood sugar levels. You now understand how late-night eating, poor sleep, the wrong breakfast, dehydration, morning stress, skipping early movement, and ignoring your patterns all work together to influence that number you see when you wake up. What matters most is realizing that your morning glucose is not random. It is the result of choices and habits from the hours before you wake up, and from the days and weeks leading up to that moment. This means you have far more control over it than you might have believed. If you have been frustrated by waking up to higher readings, it is not a sign that your body is broken. It is a signal, a message, showing you that there are areas where your metabolism needs support. And the best part is, small changes in your daily routine can lead to big improvements over time. Think about the difference it could make to start each day with confidence, knowing that your glucose is stable, your energy is steady, and your body is working with you, not against you. No more starting the day feeling defeated by a number on the screen. Instead, you can begin with the peace of mind that comes from understanding exactly why your reading is where it is and what you can do about it. The simple nightly habit I promised you at the start is this. 2 hours before bed, check your blood sugar. If it is higher than your target, make a small adjustment before you sleep. This could be a short walk, a glass of water, or a light snack with protein to help stabilize your levels. Going to bed with glucose in your optimal range helps prevent exaggerated morning spikes, reduces the stress on your body overnight, and can set you up for the best fasting readings you have seen in years. This habit works because it tackles the problem before it starts. Instead of waking up to a surprise, you take action in the evening to guide your numbers where you want them to be. It is one of the most effective ways to maintain normal blood sugar levels in the morning without relying on medication or extreme diets. If you want to discover how thousands of people are lowering their blood sugar naturally every day and avoiding the hidden dangers of elevated fasting glucose, check the link in the description right now. What you will find there could be the missing piece you have been searching for. And if this video gave you value, like it, leave a comment with your thoughts or questions, and subscribe for more science-based strategies to reverse type 2 diabetes, reduce insulin resistance, and take control of your blood sugar levels one smart decision at a time. Your morning number is more than just data. It is a reflection of your lifestyle, your habits, and your ability to make changes that protect your long-term health. By removing these 7 mistakes from your mornings, you give yourself the power to shape that number in your favor and to keep it in the truly optimal range for years to come. Take this knowledge, apply it starting tonight, and watch how quickly your mornings begin to change.